Police officers see things most people never will, but sometimes even they encounter situations they can't explain. Story 1. I've been on the police beat for 12 years, but the night shift still feels like stepping into a different world, one where the streetlights flicker like dying fireflies and every shadow watches you back. I started a YouTube channel 2 months ago, Midnight Patrol, where I upload the weirdest calls I get, the ones that never make it into the reports. I thought the camera would keep me safe, that the audience would be my witness. I was wrong. It was 2:17 a.m. when the first call cracked through the console. Unit 12, this is dispatch. Possible trespass at 1479 Willow Creek. Resident reports a figure standing motionless by the old Miller house. I glanced at the screen. An empty lot, a boarded-up cottage that burned down in '93. The crew had never even found the charred remains. It was a perfect setup for a haunted house video. I pulled my cruiser to the curb, camera rolling, and made my way through the overgrown weeds. The house loomed like a black wound in the night. I parked, turned on my flashlight, and stepped inside. The air was stale, smelling of ash and rot. I called out, "Is anyone there?" My voice echoed off the cracked plaster. A soft whisper slipped through the darkness. "You shouldn't be here." My heart hammered, but I kept filming. The beam of my light landed on a hallway lined with photographs, family portraits, all of them blurred as if a hand had smeared the faces. In the center of the room stood a figure, a woman in a tattered dress, eyes hollow, mouth open in a silent scream. She didn't move. She just stared. My camera jittered, trying to capture her, but the image kept warping, the static crackling like a broken radio. I raised my gun, the metal cold in my sweaty hand, and shouted, "Police! Get out of there!" The woman's mouth finally moved, but the sound that escaped was not a voice. It was the exact recording I'd uploaded that morning. A low-frequency hum I'd called the Static Lullaby, the one that had gotten 12,000 views and a flood of comments about something in the background. I replayed the clip on my phone. The hum was there, the same as the one now spiraling from the woman's throat. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind me, the lock clicking into place. My radio sputtered, a garbled voice repeating, "Did you see the video?" The lights flickered out, leaving only the flashlight's weak cone and the static hum growing louder, as if the house itself were a speaker. I turned to leave, but the hallway stretched forever, each door leading to another room filled with more distorted footage. My own past uploads flickering on cracked televisions, each video ending with the same woman's scream. The captions on the screens read, "Live stream," and "Viewer count 0. My breath came in ragged bursts. I tried to think, to remember the protocol. "I'm a police officer. I have a warrant." The woman raised a hand, and a cold wind swept through, scattering the photographs like ash. In the center of each frame, a tiny red dot blinked, like a notification badge on a phone. My own channel icon, my subscriber count, ticking down with each second I stayed. The hum rose to a deafening pitch, crushing my eardrums. My camera fell from my hand, its lens shattering and spilling a thick black liquid onto the floor. The liquid seeped into the cracks, and as it did, a voice, my own voice, echoed from the walls. "Don't upload the next video." My flashlight flickered out. In the crushing darkness, the last thing I saw was the woman's hollow eyes and the outline of a hand reaching toward the camera as if to press record one final time. When the station finally found my cruiser the next morning, the doors were locked from the inside, the engine still warm. Inside, the dash cam showed only static, a single frame frozen on the woman's face, her mouth forming a silent scream. My YouTube channel had gone dark. The subscriber count had vanished, and the video titled Midnight Patrol Haunted House was now the only upload, playing on a loop with the unsettling hum. I never turned the camera on again. And every night, when I'm alone in my apartment, my phone buzzes with a notification. Livestream, 0 viewers. I can't help but wonder if the call at 2:17 a.m. was ever a trespass at all, or just an invitation for the audience that never signed up. Story 2. I've been on the force for 12 years, but the night I answered that call still haunts me every time I click upload. I'm Officer Maya Torres, and this is the story that turned a routine dispatch into a YouTube nightmare. It was 2:17 a.m. when the dispatcher's voice cracked over the radio, thin as a whisper. Unit 12, possible break-in at 452 Willow Lane. Caller hung up. No visual, no audio, just a frantic buzz. You're the closest. My partner Jensen was already on the shift, eyes glued to his coffee. I could feel the prickle at the back of my neck, the same prickle that always comes before a storm. Willow Lane was a dead-end cul-de-sac in a part of town that the city's map labeled forgotten. The houses stood like shuttered eyes, their windows dark, their porches choked with overgrown vines. The streetlights sputtered, throwing long, trembling shadows across the pavement. We pulled up, the squad car's headlights slicing through the mist. The house at the end of the lane looked normal, brick, 2 stories, a porch swing swaying in the wind. But the front door was ajar, a sliver of darkness yawning inside. "Stay sharp," Jensen murmured, hand on his holster. I pulled my gun, the metal cold against my palm, and stepped onto the porch. The wood creaked under my boots as if the house itself was sighing. Inside, the air was stale, heavy with the smell of old carpet and something else, a faint metallic tang that made my stomach turn. I called out, "Police! Identify yourself!" My voice echoed off the walls, swallowed by the emptiness. A sudden buzz cut through the silence, my phone vibrating in my pocket. The screen lit up with an incoming call, unknown number. My heart thudded. I glanced at the display. Willow Lane 452. The number was the same as the dispatch's hidden code. I swiped to answer, expecting the dispatcher, but a low, rasping voice whispered, "You shouldn't have come." The line went dead. Jensen's flashlight flickered on the hallway, revealing a hallway lined with family photos. All the faces were blurred, except one, my own. The photo was of me, in my uniform, taken from behind, the camera angle impossible. My skin crawled. My badge was reflected in the glass behind the photo, but there was no glass. We moved deeper, the house seeming to stretch like a living thing. The kitchen was a mess of broken dishes, but on the counter lay a single black and white VHS tape, the label handwritten in shaky ink. "Play me." My rational mind screamed evidence, but the recorder in my pocket, my YouTube mic, began to hum. The tape was already playing in my head, a loop of the same 2:17 a.m. dispatch call, the buzzing, the whisper. I grabbed the tape, and a cold hand brushed my wrist. I spun, nothing but shadows. Jensen was gone, his flashlight lying on the floor, its beam dead. The house seemed to warp. Walls bled darkness, doors led to places I'd never seen. I ran, the tape clutched to my chest, hearing the siren of my own recorder whirring louder with each step. The front door was now a wall of thick, black glass. I pounded on it, shouting for help, but my voice was swallowed by a low, guttural laugh that echoed from everywhere and nowhere. The last thing I saw before the glass shattered was my own face reflected in the tape's label, eyes wide with terror, a single word scrawled across the glass. Live. The world snapped back. I was on the porch, the squad car's engine still humming, Jensen standing beside me, his eyes as blank as the night sky. The tape was gone, the recorder still running, capturing the sound of my ragged breath. I never uploaded that night's footage. The file was corrupted, the audio a garbled mess of static and a faint whisper repeating, "You shouldn't have come." But sometime later, a viewer left a comment on one of my older videos. "You're on camera now, Officer Torres. We're watching. I turned off the camera. The red REC light blinked out, and the darkness outside seemed to lean in a little closer.